So in the first webinar, we kind of covered the whole web platform as an overview. And the second one, I did the mobile platform as an overview. So I was thinking that for this time, we would kind of do a start to finish timeline from scheduling to what the confirmation of the inspection triggers, what to do if you're rescheduling beforehand, to actually performing the inspection and then publishing and follow up. A lot of times people are a little bit confused when it comes to what triggers what and when you need to regenerate things and stuff like that. So I'm thinking, actually I have no idea how long going through that timeline is going to take. I think it's going to be about 20, 30 minutes, but last time I said that it was like an hour, so who knows. And then we can open it up to user Q&A, and you guys can ask anything that you want, and I will try my best to answer it. I would request that if you have tech support questions like, hey, why is my app doing this or something like that, jump on the chat bubble afterward if you want to do that. I won't be addressing tech support questions on here, just general usage questions. And then if anyone does have any mobile questions that they would like answered, I can set up my handy dandy phone to screen share. I've turned off notifications so you won't know if my mom's texting. Perfect. So, okay. There are 3 different ways. I was going to make a PowerPoint to like try to visualize this, and then I like couldn't justify jumping back and forth between between PowerPoint and the software. And so I will probably make some more visual cues during editing before I post this up on YouTube to make it a little easier to understand. But okay, so we're going to start our timeline at scheduling. There are 3 different types of scheduling that you can do in Spectora. Well, technically 4, actually. But 2 of them are you, the inspector, initiates them. And so you would either hit this new inspection button here on your Spectora.com dashboard. Johnny Test is our test account. Or on your mobile app, we have what's called a scheduler Lite. Since your mobile app can function without internet, you can schedule things on there, but it won't do the fun auto population of like Zillow or your existing agents in there. And so if you do want that stuff to pop up, use the desktop or the mobile version. Wow, that was terrible. Or the web version. The web version will get you Zillow or your agent population. And you can even do it on your mobile browser on there. I do like to mention that when it comes to using different browser types, I highly, highly, highly recommend using Chrome, Safari, Firefox, or Edge. We still have some people using Internet Explorer out there, and I do always like to mention that Microsoft itself has come out and said that Internet Explorer is not even a browser to them anymore. It's a compatibility option for people who haven't updated their websites to use current code. So we are not compatible because we have very modern code languages, which is great. So Edge, Safari, Chrome, or Firefox. Cool. And then while I'm at it, device specifications, when it comes to using the app, we have an Apple and Android app. We recommend 3 gigs of RAM. RAM is your processing power. It's not the memory. It's like how much oomph and power, how much horse drive your mobile device has. And we need 2 minimum to even function, but really between 2 and 3, you're still not going to have a great experience, just because we do so much modern stuff like with the app plugin for taking phone annotations and stuff. So we highly recommend that you guys get a device with 3 gigs of RAM or more, which is most non-budget devices. If you guys are going to be professional home inspectors, you deserve professional devices that are going to work. If you're going to be holding this for 6 to 8 hours a day, you deserve a good device. So I would highly recommend not going for a budget device. It'll bite you in the buns, and then you'll end up buying 2 devices anyway, so might as well buy 1 good one. Cool. All right, off my soapbox. Cool. All right, so inspector-driven scheduling. You can either use the plus new inspection button on the dashboard or use your app scheduler. Your other 2 options, if I head into settings over here, and then I scroll down, are this online scheduler or the inspection request form. So the inspection request form, if I click on it and then I click my inspection request form, you'll see is a form. So it's not very interactive. It basically collects the client or the agent. You can click up here and have an agent version. The client and the agent's information so that you can contact them and actually schedule and confirm. It creates a request that you can go in and change the services, the fees, but it's supposed to be a contact form where you're engaged and you're going to reach out to them and contact them. And then I'm going to go click back here to settings. If I go into my online scheduler, so this is what the majority of our inspectors are using, is the online scheduler, which is an interactive form that shows your availability either through time slots or for open scheduling, like I want to do inspections from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. And I've got a video in the Spectora YouTube page specifically about the details of setting those guys up. So I can either answer questions about that later in the user Q&A, or check out, it's probably number 2 or 3 in my 8-part series on in the setup series on YouTube, that kind of details how to set up your time slots and do that kind of stuff. So online scheduler, if I scroll down here, I will find this big blue button for my online scheduler and click and open it. Now this, actually both the inspection request form and the online scheduler can be embedded into your website. And so the inspection request form, you would have to get a widget to embed it, but we actually provide the iframe code to embed into your website, just in that same area, settings, and then online scheduler, it's right below that big blue button I just clicked. But cool. So this online scheduler is going to show, this is your logo. You would replace it there. That's our logo because it's our test account. It would show your head inspector or your inspector's faces over here. That's Mike. He's our founder. One of the two. And any information that you have up here in your company profile. And I also have a video up on YouTube for setting up your company profile and your inspector profiles. If you want to check those out, like how to add a signature and that kind of good stuff. Online scheduler. So you would select which services you have, such as a residential inspection. Then you would be able to see your add-on options. Yet another YouTube video. I've got one up there on the setup series about how to set up your services and fees area and your pricing. So I can answer questions about that or check out that video. I always end up on these like webinars, I always end up having like a phrase that I repeat just like way too many times. And during editing, I get annoyed with myself saying it. And apparently it's going to be that, but I guess it's great that I got that many resources up there. Okay. So add-ons. So we can say, I want a radon and we're going to give I'm a military member. So we're going to scroll down and then we would enter our Zillow data or our address information. And that is going to pull up our Zillow information like square footage and property built. If there is a Zillow listing for it. Zillow has some kind of crazy rules because it's pulled from a multiple listing service. So like when multiple agents and stuff list one home, then it gets updated on Zillow. And it kind of depends on geography. So you may not even be able to get Zillow in your area, unfortunately, but most can. Or the Zillow integration rather. So it's going to pull my square footage and my property. You can select if it's occupied, utilities on, and then your client or agent is going to click next and enter their contact information. So we're just going to do me for this. I'm going to move my chat out of the way. Cool. And we'll just use me to make it easy. Okay. And then if I search for an agent, we always use Kevin. He's our other founder. And you'll see that auto-populated because Kevin's already in our system. So we actually log contacts, the clients and the agents by their email. And so every time you enter a client or an agent with an email in your contacts tab on the web version, you'll be able to go back in there and track and see all the metrics of how many times they've used you and stuff like that. And it's handy for the agents, which hopefully you're getting repeat business from as referrals, that you don't have to keep on re-entering their information. So we scroll down. If there was a listing agent, you could go there. Then we're gonna click next, and it's gonna pull up this calendar, which links back to your availability, those time slots or your open scheduling, the 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. And then your client or agent is going to be able to click through and say, oh, I would like a inspection for 2 p.m. on the 21st, and click that. The fourth page here is going to be your quotes. And you can set it up so that this modifier pricing is either displayed or not displayed. A lot of people like to explain why, you know, their listed base price is $300, but you're charging this person $500. And other people say, no, I don't want people to know that I charge extra for the year of the house. They'll go elsewhere. So it's honestly up to you as the inspector. Then you'll see that discounts are given as negative value fees. You can set those up in your set of services and fees. Mike actually finished programming. One of the cool and exciting things about Spectora is that we're always in development. And we actually just hired a new developer. And so we're gonna have 3 developers now, Mike, Tyler, and then our 3rd new developer come on. And we're always doing new improving things for the software. And that's one of the reasons why we are subscription based. And Mike just finished cranking out the code to do percentage and discount codes. So you can, you know, give agents for Snowstorm 2019, you get $20 off or whatever your discount code is. So that's going to be pushed up in our next major release, which is pretty awesome. Complete side note, I'm like all over the place today. Okay, I'll try to stay focused. Cool, tax. This is something that we added for the Canadians. For in the United States, there isn't a service tax, like a tax on services, but a lot of inspectors are changing the name of the tax into making the client or the agent or who's ever paying for it pay for the credit card processing fee. And so you can choose to do that if you so wish to. I've seen people do it that way, or I see people putting a discount if you pay in cash or credit and like having that as a part of it, where it'd be like, if you do not pay with your card, then you get $20 off or something like that. So it's up to you. Or people just build it into their base price. I see that a lot too. Cool, so we got the quote here. Then there's also this internal notes section, which puts the lockbox code, entrance instructions, special considerations like a dog, something like that. They could put that in there, and then when you go and confirm it, which we will do here in a second, let's go back to Spectora, thank you, and you can customize that text right there. When you go to confirm it, then you'll be able to see those internal notes, and ultimately they actually show up on your mobile app, so you don't have to be constantly switching back and forth between the web and the mobile, and you can just have that lockbox code and internal notes displayed on your app and that inspection details page for the app. Pretty handy. And I can show you guys what that looks like later. I know it's hard for me to describe things vaguely and not have a visual in that moment, but okay. So you'll see now that I have an inspection request for what we just scheduled on the online scheduler. So that online scheduler that we just used would be an agent or a client booking it through your website. If you don't have your own website, first of all, we build phenomenal websites. Kevin, Laura, Sarah, and Alexis are killers at it. So if you are looking to get a website, we do both website builds and hosting. But also, if you do not have a website, you can actually use that link to your online scheduler, and it'll display your company profile and your online scheduler. So a lot of people use it as a replacement website until they actually get their own website built. So it's pretty handy. Okay, online scheduler, you can actually choose to have it just immediately be booked or to have this request that you need to confirm. Honestly, it's 50-50 in online schedulers. Users who use the online scheduler, because we live in an instant gratification society where people don't want to have to confirm, they just want to know and pick it. But a lot of inspection companies also really like having the control to say, no, I'm going to, confirm and make sure everything's good before it's actually placed on the schedule and make sure it's a qualified lead. So it's about 50-50. Okay, but now if we scroll down to this inspection confirmation page, that request that I just did on the online scheduler, it's now going to show up here, and I could reschedule. I could change any of the client's data. I could add notes for the invoice in here. I could add completely new services if I got them on the phone and, you know, upsold them to Radon or something like that. I could hit add services and choose from anything in my services and fees listing. I could add just a fee if I wanted to. If you have made other arrangements, like I know a lot of people use like Venmo or stuff like that as their payment processor, you can mark paid in full. The system for Spectora will default to not allowing your report to be viewed if there is an unsigned agreement or if you haven't been paid. There is not a way to override the unsigned agreement, but you could mark as paid right here or say require online payment to release reports. You could uncheck that and so say like a pay at closing situation, you could release that and then they'd still be able to see the report, but it still would show that you have an outstanding payment on that inspection. Cool. You can also change the order ID. I always like to mention that like Spectora essentially does a +1 for order IDs. So if I were to change this to say 10, the next time I went to schedule, it'd automatically do a +1. So a lot of newer inspectors are hesitant to have low order ID numbers because they'll look like they're a newbie. And ironically, I see a lot of multi-inspector companies who actually like to reset every year to 1 on January 1st for order ID. And so it's always a funny dynamic of newbies trying to say it's like order ID number 257 to start off with. And then these multi-inspector companies who are just like, it's 2, take it or leave it. But do whatever you're comfortable with. You know your market better than me. Cool. Private notes, do whatever. Confirm inspection. Okay, so once an inspection is confirmed, and I'm sorry about the slow wait time, as soon as I do screen share, my internet slows down with the upload download speeds. So I swear the software works a lot faster than this when I'm not screen sharing to a ton of people. So where am I at? Okay, we confirmed an inspection. So now it's going to take me to the inspection details page. You can also, if we scroll up to the top here and go to the dashboard, then when it loads, come on little guy. Of course it's now acting up and being slow right after I told you guys why it was doing it. Okay, if it was scheduled for today, you'd be able to see it here in the today section. And then if I scroll down, you can also see that I confirmed it for over here. And you can find it on the calendar. And then the third place that you're gonna find it is up in this inspections tab, which lists all of your inspection, canceled, you know, active, any of these guys. And so you'll also be able to find it up here. So I just confirmed this 221 inspection. Okay, so now we're gonna talk about timeline. So when you confirm an inspection, not when it's requested, when it's confirmed, a couple things are gonna trigger. First, if you're using us for an automated email system, you the scheduling email is going to be triggered. So it's going to be, I'm just gonna jump all over the website and confuse you guys. In your automation tab, there's the scheduling email. If we open it up, you can customize for the client, the agents, and the listing agents, different emails to trigger and go out to them. And so that scheduling email is triggered by confirmation. Then, if I go back, the other thing that's going to get triggered is if you have an inspection agreement set to come in for this service type, it's automatically going to populate the fields that you have coded in your inspection agreements, such as this is our fee breakdown, that's the client's name, here's the property address. So you don't manually have to go in and do this agreement. I like to point this out that it's triggered by the confirmation because agreements, we don't have an active regeneration code in place for the agreements for legal reasons. You can't just be switching stuff out all the time. So if you go into the inspection and you need to change, say you spelled the client's name wrong, or the property address was incorrect, you're gonna need to scroll down here and actually click these 3 dots, delete that agreement, and then generate a new one to get that new stuff to populate in there. And again, that's for legal reasons. So if you ever have to change the inspection details after the confirmation, make sure you go in and regenerate the agreement. I wish it was easier to do, but legal. Cool. So scheduling email is triggered. The inspection agreement is triggered. The third thing that is triggered is, if we go back to automation, are these pre-inspection client's agent, and listing agent emails. And these, you can set to either have, or either do 3 emails and 2 text messages, and you can set how many days before, how many hours, weeks, months before that you want, and what to trigger. And so by that scheduling email going out, these pre-inspection reminder emails are also placed in your queue. And if we scroll to the top of the automation section, you'll see that we have an email queue and text queue. So you can click into here and see all of the emails that are set to go out in the future. And if they haven't been sent out yet, you can actually click in here and edit the email, such as if you had a phone conversation with the client or the agent and you want to include some personal information in there, you could click on there and edit the email before it would send. And then when it did hit that triggered time of 2 hours before the inspection or something like that, it would show, or excuse me, it would send whatever's currently in your email queue, which is great. So there's that. And same thing with text messages. Emails, we can third party send them through your own email. You can choose to either have them be through your company email as the point of contact, or you as an inspector for the email. However, text messages, there isn't a way to third party send text messages for you from your own number. So the text messages will actually come from our number, but most inspectors get around the fact that you couldn't text back to that by opening up. It's always silly how slow it goes. By adding something into the text message template that says, if you would like to text back to me, make sure you do it. Let me know if you have any questions, and then your actual phone number. And so far, we haven't had any trouble with people texting back to the wrong number or something like that. So make sure you, in your text, if you're going to use the text area, if you're going to use the text area, you're going to put your own phone number in there. Cool. Question on the chat. If Spectora creates the website, does that include getting the domain name, or should we do that and provide it to you? If we're creating the website, you would own the domain. So you would go to GoDaddy or Google Domains or something, and you would buy the domain. And that's because if you ever wanted us to stop hosting the website, we want to make sure that you still own the domain. So when you would sign up for us creating a website for you, or if you're a new inspector, we have something called the Jumpstart package, which is a website hosting and then an annual agreement of the software. And by bundling all 3 of those together, you guys save over $1,000, which is great. And so when you sign up for that, you would immediately get access to a questionnaire link on your dashboard. And one of the questions on there is, what's your domain? What's the login to the domain credentials, so that we can get in there and start building your site. So you would own the domain, and then we would build the website, and we would host the website. And there's an annual hosting fee that would incur after that first year. It's included in the website setup. And then after that, you'd just be responsible for the software and the hosting. There wouldn't be another website fee after the first year. Yeah, okay. That was our side note. Now we're over here. And for my new people joining in, feel free to jump on the group chat and ask questions. I'll try to answer them as we go along. But as soon as I finish up this timeline of like what triggers what within the inspection, I'll also go through and just open it up to user Q&A. Cool. All right. Text messages, we've done that. Okay, so confirming the inspection triggers your scheduling email, your reminder emails get put in the queue, and your agreement. So now we're gonna go back to our dashboard. And we are going to reschedule. Okay, so I'm gonna click down here to our calendar and I'm gonna open it up. And I have a more in-depth YouTube video on all of the inspection details, tools, like how to edit fees and stuff like that. If you need to reschedule, you can click this number and date and choose to reschedule. Say, oh no, I want here, but I would like it for 3 a.m. No, thank you. 3 p.m. Cool. When I hit this reschedule inspection, what's going to happen is it's going to trigger, there's a second scheduling email called the rescheduling email in your automation section where it says, hey, you've been rescheduled to this time. I would like to point out that that will go out to your clients and your agent, regardless of if you've talked to them or not. I had a lot of people get confused on the tech support chat bubble, thinking that that was a good way to communicate with your clients that they were going to be rescheduled. And we had some clients and agents type into the tech support chat bubble, not understanding that we were the software and not the home company and the inspectors. So I would just, please, talk to your agents and your clients before rescheduling. Cool. Okay, rescheduling email will go out. Cool. Then the next automated email that we have is actually if you add a new agreement or you add a new fee. And so this is because you want to notify the clients or the agent that there's a new actionable item. And what happens in those emails is, unless you change it, it defaults to sending the client and the agent to this client's view. So I actually did that pretty fast. I'm going to go backwards and show you guys where I clicked. This client to agent view button here, we call it the client portal. But if you click on it, then this is where they will go to view and sign their inspection agreement to pay you if you're using an online processor. Ultimately, once both of those things are done, they'll be able to click and see the reports in here. There's a couple customizable options in automation about whether or not you want to send them directly to the report, to the PDF, include everything. But I usually highly recommend that you use the portal because it's a great home base for them to do it. Cool. Inspection agreement. When you're clicking on it, I always like to mention, because some people are very hesitant about the checkbox I signed here. So if I open this guy up and scroll down, you'll see that there's this, by checking this box, I hereby accept terms and conditions of this agreement. There's actually a federal law called the federal e-sign law that is as valid as a signature. It does hold up in court. So that's often a question that I get. It's valid. We don't have an option for a physical signature right now. So if you, or say an insurance company that you use, insist on a physical signature, unfortunately, you're going to have to use something like DocuSign. It's on our radar to figure it out, but we've got some fun development projects happening first, and this is federally acceptable. So yeah, cool. So now if I scroll back up, cool. So if you add a new fee or if you add a new agreement, it's going to trigger the fee or agreement email in your automations to send out to let the client or the agent know that there's an actionable item. So that is great. So that's the third thing that will trigger. Then if we go back here, the next thing that's going to happen, barring, more rescheduling or more agreements or something like that, is you'll see that this report has not yet been built. We build your report for you if you don't do it ahead of time at 3 a.m. the morning of the inspection, so that you're not having to go in and build it manually the morning of the inspection. We want you guys getting out and going. We do recommend that you open up your app when you're in an area of good internet reception. That is going to pull the report onto your app. After the report is on your app, you do not need internet to edit. All of that data is saved locally onto the app, and you can wait and save once you get back up into an area of good reception. This is also really good for battery life. We do have live saving options that you can turn on and change from an on-demand saving into frequency savings from every 5 seconds to every, I think it's like 5 minutes, 15 minutes. And so you can choose to have it run just in case you're worried that you're going to drop your phone off the roof or something like that and lose that data. but not that I've actually ever heard of that happening. But you can choose. So you can choose if you don't have enough reception, just save to your device and then save later, or you can save as you go, up to you. Okay, so to build the report ahead of time, I see this a lot with people who have office staff where they want to go in and enter specific details, just about like inspection details and stuff like this. So what you do is you would click these 3 buttons next to the report and hit build now. And what that's going to do is build the report from your template, your active template at the time of. So, which brings me to my next point. This is always hard to explain. Templates are your master cookie cutter or your date stamp. If you make a change to your template, it is only going to affect reports that are built in the future. So your template is your master blank. And if you make a template change, you're going to need to delete this report and then regenerate it to get those new template changes to come in. Yes, it's a hassle. However, it does make sense to do it that way because if you added or changed language within your template and it did affect currently built reports, you'd end up with a situation like if you added a new roof comment or a new roof section or item or something like that, it would actually populate on old reports and you wouldn't want that. So if you make changes to your template, which hopefully you don't have to do that often after the initial setup, you have to delete your report and regenerate it to get the new template changes to show. Cool. Then always make sure that if you have already downloaded the report onto your app, hit the sync button to pull down changes onto your app. So you're editing the correct report. Cool. If you do not build it ahead of time, like I said, we build it for you 3 a.m. the morning of the inspection. So now in our fun timeline, we are on to how to edit the report. You can either do it with the Spectra app. Like I said, it's Apple or Android. Or you can click edit here. And if you have, say, like a Windows tablet, or you just like doing it on a laptop, you can edit using our web report editor. You do need internet since it's on the web. So, waiting for it to load. You can click this cover photo to change the cover photo. It will pull in from Zillow or Google Street View if there is one. You can also choose to discard that information if you don't want it. You would go in through here, and we at Spectra only display active comments. So instead of, say, for this multiple choice comments where it's 1, 2, 3, 4 comments on the template, we found that agents and clients found that confusing, and it created longer PDFs they weren't really interested in reading. And so we only show the active answers. Comments that are activated, so like occupancy, would not currently show since I haven't interacted with it at all. And this client's agent, homeowner, listing agent wouldn't display on the report because they're not active. So if I click preview publish right now and open up this inspection report, which you can do at any time, and then I scroll down, you'll see that the in attendance, the client. So you'll see that only the active answer choice displays. We get a lot of great feedback from agents that they love the condensed and modern feel of that instead of having, dozens of check boxes that are completely unchecked and they don't know, they're harder to read. Yeah. So you would go through here and perform an inspection. One thing that I do like to mention is the green completion ratings. You can choose whether or not you want to require completion of each informational item to be able to publish. This is great for newbie inspectors who want to make sure that they didn't miss anything. And what I mean by that is if I go ahead and click and interact with, oh God, it's like 35 degrees out right now. It's blizzarding here in Denver, as usual. If I go through here and answer all of the informational comments, this is our test account, so stuff turns wacky when we're trying to show people how to add stuff, and it creates some pretty fun templates. You'll now see that this general item because I've filled out all the green informational comments, it has now turned green. That means it's completed. Now I'm going to take the easy cheater way out and actually just delete this second general house photo thing, item. And once it's deleted, come on, little guy. There we go. You'll now see that my section turned green. So as you fill out all of your informational comments within your report, and it does this in the app too, your sections and your items will turn green. So you can see what you've missed by what's not green. A lot of times I get a lot of questions about these temperature comments, or like this text box comment down here of typing, and I just typed in 24 for no good reason. If it's a text type comment, we actually have 7 different comment types for informational items that I can talk to you guys about here in a little bit. But if it's a number type or if it's text type, you have to have something in there. You have to like type something, a number or a word in there to activate that comment. So if you're having trouble locating what you're missing informational comment wise, it's probably a text type comment that you're just overlooking. Yeah, so and then on that note, if you don't need a comment, say these test ones, if you want to get that completion rating, because you'll see that, sorry, just scrolled like crazy everywhere. Now that that's unchecked, it would affect my completion rating. So if it was not applicable to this house or this report and you still wanted that completion rating, just go ahead and delete it. Cool. We're good to go. Now you're all completed. Cool. Another question that I get a lot is what's a limitation? So I always like to point that out in these webinars. A limitation is anything that limits your inspection. And so usually it's, I could not inspect the roof because there's snow on the roof, or I could not see the water heater because storage in the basement blocked it from view, something like that. So green informational items are your good or your neutral information. What's the water heater brand? Limitations are going to be your limitation to the inspection. And then the third option is if I click into one of the non-informational sections, is going to be defects. And you can actually name this third category whatever you would like, and that's the bad stuff. And the bad stuff is going to be called out in the summary. So all the defects go into the summary. And if you click and open these, another common question are what are these buttons? The blue, the orange, the red. And those are the severity of the defects. We call them defect rating categories. Usually I see the blue one as being DIY or maintenance items. I see orange as being a recommendation or a recommended repair, and red as being a major concern or a safety hazard. We have 3. You can choose to have less than 3, 1 or 2. We did a large focus group of agents, and they actually did not like more than 3, and they actually liked 2 the best because they didn't feel that maintenance item or DIY needed to be called out, but that's up to you as an inspector. Cool. So if we open, yep, cool. And then if we hit general, what I was talking about before about informational only items, you can actually, if you would like in a general information section to add a defect, if you click the title here of the item that you're in, nope. See, I even get caught up sometimes. There we go. If I hit the general, because it's general information comment, you could uncheck this info item and it would create the defect category for you to edit in. But yeah, cool. So then we've edited our report either online or on the app. If you're doing it on the app, you're going to save up to the web. You can actually publish from the app as well. I would say that the majority of our inspectors finish about 95% of the report online, or excuse me, on the app, on site. And the majority of the people who do, that was terrible. I'm going to restart that. Okay, so the majority of our inspectors finish 95% of the inspection on site. Then that extra 5% is going to be tinkering or, reviewing it before you send it out. We do have a lot of inspectors who publish on site, which is great for the guys who, say that they're going to do 24-hour turnaround or give it to you on site. So now after we've completed the report and it is saved, we can go to preview publish. And that's going to allow you to review the web report, and then the PDF you'll see over here is generating right now. And so you can, every web report can also be made into a PDF, either the summary PDF or the full report PDF, depending on what you would like. We tend to see that agents under the age of, I'm going to say 50 or 60, love the web reports, and agents over the age of 50 or 60 mandatory need the PDFs. So it seems to be an age difference. But there also are a lot of inspection companies who want the PDFs, which makes sense too. Cool. So you can review the different inspection details. If you see something you need to edit, you can hit quick edit. These three buttons on the side and those edit are only visible to you as a logged in inspector. The agent and the client can't see those. They would just see these summary items. Obviously, after you publish, you can confirm that if you're suspicious, if you would like, by using a private or an incognito window of your browser. It basically blocks all of your logged in information, and you can see as just like a stranger would. And so, yeah, so those are disappeared. So you don't have to worry about that. Cool. I always like to point out too that up here in the reports tools, I think my face is going to be blocking this, but we have plenty of videos and articles and stuff like that. Is if you click report tools, we have this repair request builder where your agent and your clients can build repair request forms of all the defects with pricing estimates. Usually this is great for the agents. It's a huge time saver for them to create their objection repair forms. So look on the YouTube channel for the demo of those, but those are major selling points for the agents because you're saving them 20, 30 minutes per inspection. And so then it's going to be more referrals for you. Okay, so we have required completion to publish turned on. And since I did not complete this report, it's not showing that. So let me go out here. This is what happens. There's always one moment where I get completely like tricked by the system and look dumb. So hold on one second. We're gonna go to settings. I mean, last webinar, there was 2 people making out in the background, so it was not my fault. And I just like stuttered a whole bunch, so, But okay, if I go down to settings and then report tools, I can turn off require completion to publish. Sneaky. Now we go to the dashboard and we're going to scroll down and we're going to click into our Thursday inspection. And now you can see I can publish. Magic. Okay, so publishing. What it's going to do is it's going to pull up this prompt and you can choose to, in your automation settings, you can create different email templates for the clients and the agent. That is just the client's agent, I would like to specify. It's illegal in a lot of states to send the report directly to the listing agent. And so you would have to do that manually if you get permission, but hitting publish this agent email is just to the client's agent. It's not to the listing agent. And if you have text messages turned on, you can choose to have those sent. You can also click in here to the client and say, okay, this is from my template of your inspection report is ready to use. And then if you wanted to add a personal note in here, such as I liked your dog or something like that, you can type in here and then scroll down and you would hit send all. Since it's just me and Kevin, I'm actually going to, I'll show you what it looks like. Whatever, we'll bug Kevin. So we're gonna hit send all. So now I'm triggering the client and the agent's publishing emails, report ready emails to go out. What that's also going to trigger is your follow-up emails. So by the way, you can scroll to the bottom of the inspection details page and you can see the emails and the text messages that have sent out or are going to send out. This send on means it's sitting in the queue, that it'll do it here in a couple minutes. Cool. If we go to automation and then scroll down, one of the great features about Spectora is that upon publishing, like I said, those post-inspection follow-up emails can be triggered and they're put in the queue. and you can choose to have 1, 2, or 3 follow-ups. These are huge for getting reviews, guys. I highly recommend that you guys put hyperlinks to your Google and Yelp review forms on there. We found that the 1 day after, 7 days after, and 21 days after are the 3 magic numbers that seem to get the most reviews. 1 day after is it's still in their mind. A week after is they've had some time to settle down and think about how great you are. And then 21 days after is usually closer to when they're selling or closing on the house and they are actually feeling the value of their home inspection. And so those are your magic numbers if you want to use them. And you can also send follow-up text messages. I always do like to mention that, like, if you put the Yelp review link in your text message, it'll automatically create a hyperlink for you in the text messages. So that's good. Yeah. So now, then we've got the follow-up. I guess the only other thing that's really in our timeline would be is if you're doing a re-inspection, which is actually a pretty common question we get, how to perform a re-inspection. So what we're going to do is say we came out on the 21st, and yes, it's in the future, and we want to redo and have a re-inspection on the 23rd. There's just a couple little things. What we're going to do is we're going to create a new inspection, and we're going to use the same address and click over here. So you can click on the schedule like that to do the dashboard scheduler. Oop, that's not what I want. And do 66 South Logan. That's our work address, 80209. And then I won't bore you guys with adding client details and such in there right now. So I'm going to save this inspection. So now I have an inspection in my schedule, and I'm going to scroll down here to the 21st. This is the inspection that I've already done. Now, a really great way to do this re-inspection is now going to be to copy the report between the 2 inspections. So you have a base with all of your original report inspection data in there, but you're not changing your original report. So we're going to hit these 3 dots, and then we're going to hit copy. And we're going to type in the address for the new inspection, which is going to be crazy because we always use our inspection office address for our mock inspections. But say, I don't even see it on here. 27? I don't know. We've just got too many of them. Doesn't matter. Whatever. Click any of them. When I click that, I'm being silly today. Sorry, team. When I click that copy, it's going to copy that second report over to the new inspection. Now, I see re-inspections done in one of 2 ways. I either see, well, actually 3 ways, which one of our users chimed in and told us about the way he's doing it. So first of all, you can delete all of the sections you don't need so that all of your re-inspection just says just the roof, just the, I don't know, electrical. Or you can duplicate the sections that you're re-inspecting and rename the title of it to be re-inspect roof. And so they can see the direct comparison. And then the third option, actually, one of our users is using the repair request builder, which contains the defects of the first time around. And they're using it to add comments in there to say, this has been re-inspected, it's fine, or still needs work, that kind of stuff. So you got 3 different options for the rescheduling. Cool. I think that's the end of the timeline. So my summary is going to be 3 types of scheduling. Upon confirmation of the inspection, your confirmation email gets sent, your agreement gets generated, your pre-inspection reminder emails get placed in the queue to be sent whenever you decide, in the automation ahead of time, of course. Then you can reschedule, add a fee, or add an agreement, and that will trigger those automated emails. Then you do the report, or do the inspection on the report. Then you publish the report to the client, and you can choose who to publish to at certain times and republish. And then by publishing, you're putting those follow-up emails into your email queue or text message. And then to reschedule, you would schedule a new inspection and then copy the report between each inspection. which is pretty great. Okay, I think that's it for right now. Does anybody have any questions that they would like to ask? Jump on the group chat if you have any. I will answer questions about anything, or, you know, it doesn't have to be what we just covered. It could be, how do I set up my automated emails? Something like that. Usually it takes a couple seconds for people to chime in. Okay. We're being pretty quiet today. That's fine. So, other commonly asked questions that I can give you tips for. Template Center, you can find different templates if you're a new inspector over here in the Template Center. You can also, we've got several different importers from HomeGauge, 3D, a couple others that I can't remember off the top of my head. You can export those from your current software and then import them into Spectora so that you have a base to build your Spectora template off of. It's not going to be an exact match, mostly because we're not exact softwares and we lay things out differently. But it's a good place to start with, and then you can tinker around afterward. Okay, calendar will show you a calendar view. Automation has all those different options that I was showing you guys. Payments, exciting news. I think today, actually, we are debuting our Spectora payments to the full public, not just beta. We negotiated with Stripe to lower processing transaction fees from the normal 2.9% down to 2.75%, plus the 30-cent transaction fee. And so you can set that up in your payments area, settings, and then payments. We also do have integrations with, let's see, Authorize.net. I did not click that. With Authorize.net, with Stripe, Square, and then, like I said, Spectora Payments. A lot of the times, depending on how many transactions you do and things like that, you can negotiate those fees down with them individually. But basically, we negotiated for you if you'd like to try out Spectora Payments. The other fun, nice feature is on our app, you'll actually be able to use your phone to scan the credit card. We've got one of those fun things that pulls the numbers off of the credit card for you, and that will send it right up to the payment processor. So that's fun. Other things to announce. I don't know why I'm singing. I had coffee right before this. It was probably not the best idea. Inspection request form, filing scheduler, inspection agreements, scheduling options. You can choose to do time slots or open availability. You can also get emails for, you know, in progress booking, stuff like that. In location tags, you can change the little buttons for East Kitchen, that kind of stuff. Social links, I highly recommend if you guys have Instagrams or Facebook pages or something like that, or even just your YouTube channel, your Google My Business, or your Yelp profiles, stick them in there. Integrations, we do offer several integrations. Google Drive is going to back up all of your PDFs, your PDF of your report, the agreement, your invoice, any attachments as PDFs that you have, and it will back it up to your Google Drive account every night. We've got an integration with QuickBooks, the online version. MailChimp is a great marketing platform where you can send mass emails instead of just the automated ones by our trigger. Oh, I guess that's an exciting thing to mention. At the end of Q1, so March, we have been in heavy development. Mike and Tyler have been working their buns off to develop what we're calling Spectora Advanced, I think. I forget the real title. But basically, it's going to expand our automated email system and better metrics, stuff like that, to match what ISN is currently doing. And so you could get off ISN completely and come over to us. Most inspectors find that if you're under 5 inspectors, we already have enough tools for you. So this is going to be for the big multis who require, you know, tons of custom automated emails and stuff like that. So hopefully that will be out at the end of Q1. Secure 24, we've got an integration with them. To Simple Solutions Call Center, we currently have an integration with them if you're looking to have a call center. We're also in negotiations with America's Call Center. It's a common misconception on tech support that we can just flip a switch and have an integration. Unfortunately, it's not that easy. We do have to do a lot of development hours and business negotiating, stuff like that. But if you have an integration that you want us to think about and try to start negotiating, feel free to talk to us on the tech support chat bubble about it. If you do want to stay with ISN, we get it. What's ever best for your business. We do have an integration with them that makes them take care of all your business stuff, and we just become a report editor. So you would schedule agreements, payments, everything through them, and then you can still use our report writing software in the app, and then you would publish through ISN. And so you can do that if you would like. And we've got an integration with Recall Check, which sends the client's information over when you hit the button over to the Recall Check app, but then you would still use the Recall Check app to check the serial numbers and stuff like that. Dashboard settings, you can open this up and enter your driving directions. It's also great for tracking mileage. We track it for you. We're building the user side of that right now. We also have per user integration. So all these integrations up here are per company. And if I scroll down here, these are the per user ones that only affect you. Mainly they're the calendar ones. So you can integrate with Google Calendar. That's two-way. So if you have something scheduled in Google Calendar, like a dentist appointment, it'll block off your availability in Spectora and put it in your calendar. So you have one calendar going. iCal, unfortunately, is only one way. When you're scheduling an inspection in iCal, it'll pump it over and put it on your iCal calendar. Cool. Yeah, and then just always a commonly asked question is to change your email. Since it's your username, you come down here to user options and your password. Yeah. Okay. I'm not seeing that we have any more group chat questions. Yeah, that's kind of all I had planned for today. I was planning on doing more Q&A. I guess to wrap up, check out the YouTube channel. It's got a ton of great videos for setting up individual pieces, from profile to template editing, stuff like that. It's got the past webinars. Make sure you subscribe to it because we are pretty constantly weekly pushing out new videos for training or marketing or something like that. Kevin has a bunch of great marketing videos about how to do your own SEO, search engine optimization, and stuff like that on there. Also, make sure to check out Kevin's podcast, A Spectora Spotlight. He interviews interesting people throughout the industry, not just home inspectors, but the top producing agent in Colorado, here where we live, to a call center rep for should people be answering their own phones, stuff like that. And so they're really great stuff. He does a wonderful job like that. And I'm not just saying that because he pays me. So we also really, really appreciate if you guys were to jump on Capterra or the Google or Android app stores and give us a review. Those mean the world to us. So many inspectors check out the reviews for inspection softwares before they switch. And if you're a new inspector checking us out, make sure you go check those out because we have most of them are 5-star reviews and people are really happy about it. Also check out the Facebook user group. It's by request only, but I confirm people every single day just to make sure that you're an actual active user on the free trial. And I limit it so that there's no bullying because I'm not dealing with that, and that no vendors are soliciting you on there. So it's actually just a user, really helpful community actually of real users where you can ask questions on there. I guess the last thing I always like to mention is that we have 7-day-a-week tech support. We cover all the time zones Monday through Friday for all the business hours, so 7 a.m. Mountain Time to 6 p.m. Mountain Time. Alexis and I are currently averaging a response time of under 1 minute during business hours, but sometimes it's under 5 minutes, depending on how crazy stuff gets. We're getting a little competitive with it. It's fun. And you would just click this chat bubble at the bottom. Oops, clicked it twice, and have it open up. And you can start a new conversation, or you can review past conversations and see all in here. You can also type into our support articles. We write support articles about everything, and you can read all the articles if you would like to learn on your own. On Saturdays and Sundays, we have tech support hours from 9 to noon, and then who's ever on tech support that weekend, because we rotate checks in multiple times throughout the weekend. We take a lot of pride in our tech support. We really want to be here for you guys and your inspectors and your office staff and everything. So, all right. I guess I'm going to end this one a little bit early. I should have had more material prepared, and I apologize for that. But hopefully that means that everybody is feeling comfortable with the software. So that's great. Type in do tech support with more questions. I'll post this link on YouTube. The next webinar, which I will plan more fully out and do a lot more advertising for, is going to be March 8th, again from 2 to 4 p.m. And so it gives you a little bit of time to schedule it out and get ready for it, and perhaps more questions. So yeah. All right. Thank you everybody for chiming in and tuning in. We really appreciate you. Leave a review, subscribe on YouTube, jump on the Facebook user group. High five. I like it. All right. Bye guys.